Freedom. What does it have to do with hot water? Well, in our opinion, everything. At Rinnai, we believe hot water should be more than a way to get clean. It should be a way to wake up and wind down. It should wash away the worries of the day. Never add more. It should be something that makes life a little easier and a lot more enjoyable. That's why we created Rinnai tankless water heaters. The result of years of innovative design and engineering, Rinnai tankless water heaters provide an endless supply of hot water whenever and wherever you need it, even if you need it for multiple tasks, such as showering, washing dishes, and doing laundry, all at the same time. So, how does it work? It's simple. When you turn on your faucet or shower, your Rinnai tankless unit immediately begins transforming cold water into hot and delivering it directly to your fixtures. And it doesn't stop until the demand does. There's no tank to limit how much hot water you can use and when you can use it, which means there's no need to worry about running out. Beyond convenience, Rinnai tankless water heaters deliver energy-efficient performance that saves you money on your monthly utility bills, along with the reliable engineering that makes us North America's #1 selling tankless brand. Break free from compromises and limitations. Enjoy hot water your way. Learn more about Rinnai tankless water heaters at www.rinnai.us/tankless.
Cooking the perfect turkey in the Big Easy is, well, easy. Follow these simple steps to make the best tasting, juiciest, oil-free, crispy fried turkey you've ever tasted. The Big Easy will hold up to a 16-pound turkey. Before cooking, be sure the turkey is completely thawed and remove the giblets, neck, and anything else from inside the cavity. Be sure to remove the metal or plastic tie that may be used to bind the legs together as well. Opening the legs will allow the turkey to cook evenly and maintain its position inside the basket. Rinse the turkey under cold water and pat it dry with paper towels. You can use an injectable marinade to kick your turkey up a notch, but if you are really into making it easy, just use a dry rub and a little peanut or canola oil. Brush the turkey with oil and apply your rub liberally. Avoid using a rub with a high sugar content as it may burn during cooking. Always set the turkey inside the basket with the breast up and legs down so that it can cook evenly. This orientation will also allow you to insert the included food thermometer into the breast to monitor internal temperature during the cooking process. Your turkey is now ready to cook. Drop the turkey and basket into the cooker. Make sure your propane is on. Turn the cooker to on. Then turn the rotary igniter to light the Big Easy burner. That's it. Now you just have to wait. The Big Easy cooker comes with a wire mesh lid. This lid should only be used when cooking in colder outdoor temperatures, extremely windy days, or toward the end of your cooking time if extra browning is desired. Additionally, there is a removable grease tray underneath the cooker that catches the drippings from your turkey. To use these drippings for gravy, they should be heated on a stovetop to at least 180 degrees Fahrenheit and captured in a food-safe aluminum liner. Cook times will vary depending on the outdoor weather, but generally you can expect 10 minutes per pound for a turkey. Your thermometer should read 165 degrees Fahrenheit before pulling the turkey out of the cooker. Check the temperature in several additional places to make sure the food is cooked evenly. Once the turkey is fully cooked, you may be tempted to remove it from the basket immediately. Instead, set the basket and the turkey on a tray or platter and allow it to rest for 10 to 15 minutes. Once the basket has cooled, gently separate any places where the turkey has attached itself to the basket during the cooking process. Turn the basket on its side to remove the turkey. A long, sturdy grilling fork can be used to assist with removing the turkey from the basket with minimal effort, keeping the turkey fully intact. That's it. Now you see why it's called the Big Easy. Get ready to experience a golden brown, juicy, and delicious fried turkey without the danger of hot oil to splatter or spill.
Hello, and welcome to the Memphis Backyard Kitchen. I'm Matt Hayes, Executive Corporate Chef for Memphis Woodfire Grill, and I wanted to take a second today just to tell you a little bit about myself. I have always been fascinated with kitchen equipment and being in and around the kitchen. That goes back to modifying my little sister's Easy Bake Oven with a 150-watt 3-way. I cooked my way through college, being taught by a classically trained French chef. As an airline pilot, I have traveled the globe, and I am still infinitely fascinated going to new cultures, then bringing those adventures back to my friends and family. With these video segments, I hope to share with you some of my adventures from around the world, as well as get you more excited about backyard cooking. I want to get women more comfortable using the barbecue. I want to get men cooking more than burgers and ribs. I want your neighbors to say, "I can't believe you made that on the grill." So come along with us. If you have some thoughts and ideas, send me an email. Again, I'm Matt Hayes. Thanks for watching. Check out our YouTube channel. Like us on Facebook. Check out our website, memphisgrills.com. And if you have an idea for a shoot, send me an email. I'd be glad to hear from you.
The Mr. Heater Portable Buddy Indoor Safe Propane Heater is perfect for heating workshops, enclosed porches, hunting blinds, campers, tailgating, ice fishing, you name it. It's safe, provides hours of warmth, and is easy to use and store. Let's get started. First, remove the unit from the box and check for any shipping damage to the unit. It's very important that you read, understand, and follow all safety instructions and warnings in the manual before setting up and operating the unit. During operation, the heater and the attached cylinders must be in an upright position. To start setting the unit up, make sure the 4-position control knob is in the off position. Then swivel the regulator on the right side outward for easy tank installation. Make sure the unit is outside or away from any flames or other ignition source and cool to the touch. Now screw the 1-pound tank clockwise into the regulator located on the right side. The tank threads must be properly aligned with the heater threads to avoid damage to the heater. Using soapy water, check for leaks at the threaded connection under the domed plastic cover. The Portable Buddy Heater can be used with propane tanks up to 40 pounds using the Mr. Heater Hose F273-701 and fuel filter number F273-699. The Mr. Heater Hose F273-702 and the fuel filter F273-699. The Mr. Heater Hose number F298802 and fuel filter number F273699. The Mr. Heater Hose number F273704. A fuel filter is not required for this hose. Using soapy water, check for leaks at all fuel filter and hose connections. Before starting heater, check clearance to combustible objects. Top 30 inches, front 24 inches, side 6 inches, rear 0. To light the pilot burner, press and turn the control knob counterclockwise to the pilot position and push down for 30 to 60 seconds. Leaving the knob in the pilot position, release and push back down for ignition. Repeat this step until the pilot lights. After the pilot is lit, hold the knob down for an additional 30 to 60 seconds. Then release knob and confirm pilot light stays on. The control knob should return to its fully extended position. To light the heater, turn the control knob to the high position. Leave on this position until the burner tile turns bright orange. Then adjust the heat output by turning control knob to the desired position. To shut off the heater, slightly push down and turn control knob clockwise to the off position. The tip switch is an important safety device that shuts down the heater if it is knocked over or tilts past approximately 45 degrees. Once the tile is turned bright orange, tip the unit to test the tip switch safety device for proper shutdown of the heater. All infrared heaters, including the Mr. Heater Portable Buddy, consume oxygen in the process of burning and must be properly vented. The Portable Buddy is also equipped with a life-saving oxygen depletion system, ODS. The ODS senses the level of oxygen around the heater and shuts the heater down automatically if the oxygen percentage falls below a factory preset level. Please note, the Portable Buddy is not designed for elevations over 7,000 feet due to the advanced ODS safety system. When using the Portable Buddy, remember that after turning the heater off, the wire guard will remain hot. Be sure it thoroughly cools before storing. do not operate, store, or remove cylinder near any flammable items or ignition sources. Always disconnect the LP gas cylinders from heater when not in use. You're now ready to use the Portable Buddy heater, the latest evolution in powerful and portable heat. Be sure to watch the Portable Buddy cleaning and maintenance video for tips on how to take care of your heater. Mr. Heater is America's most popular brand of portable heaters.
So you've heard about going tankless, but what exactly does that mean? Well, we at kudzu.com are here to help. First off, let's start with the obvious question. What are tankless water heaters? Well, put simply, they're water heaters that heat your water as you need it. Now, traditional water heaters heat large amounts of water and keep that water hot in a tank until you want it, which means they're always working. But a tankless water heater heats your water on demand, so there's no wasted energy. Cold water enters the system, winds its way through the heating component, and then exits hot. Also, tankless water heaters come in both gas and electric and various sizes to match the hot water needs of the home. Plus, they're good for the environment. They use less energy, they're more efficient, they reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and most have Energy Star approval. Best of all, these systems can be installed virtually anywhere, from crawl spaces to closets to tons of other areas where a traditional tank just won't fit. There's lots more I want to tell you, but I've got to run. Be sure and visit us at kudzu.com
Run over
to
here,
learn more.
where Jackie Moore is with us. Jackie from the South Carolina Specialty Foods Division of the South Carolina Department of Agriculture. Welcome once again to your monthly visit to Making It Great.
Thank you, Amanda. It's a pleasure to be here. I have today with me Robin Ray. She's from Slather Brand Foods out of Charleston.
Slather Brand.
Slather.
Excuse me, just wanted to be sure I heard it right.
She's going to tell us all about slathering, aren't you, Robin?
I am, and thank you so much for having me here today. First of all, I'd like to tell you about the ingredients that are in our Slather Brand slathering sauce. It's everything that you see in my Charleston sweetgrass basket. We have crushed pineapple, lovely crushed red peppers, sweet honey. It's a tomato base with lots of garlic and wonderful spices. There is no gluten in this basket. There's also no MSG, no preservatives, and no high fructose corn syrup. And Slather Brand slathering sauce is really quite versatile. As you could see, we could cover this table and a few others here, but
And I think one of the things that you mentioned, the honey, is probably what makes it useful if you do want to use it as a grilling sauce, because that means it would kind of crystallize and caramelize a little bit.
that's exactly
And
right.
I look at this delicious display and tell me what you've done.
Well, what we've done here is we've taken some chicken meatballs, wrapped them in some applewood smoked bacon, put them in the oven, let them get all crispy, and slathered them in slathering sauce.
What is this one down here, Robin? It looks delicious.
Those are actually some southwestern egg rolls, and we dip those in slathering
So they're not
sauce.
slathering in them, you dip them.
You
right?
can dip in slathering sauce, exactly.
Now, is that curly fries down front, or what do we have down there?
Well, it kind of looks like that,
Yeah,
doesn't
doesn't
it?
it?
Actually, that's fried calamari. And also, you know, calamari either comes with marinaras or sometimes marmalade, and we actually like to serve that with the spicy variety. Again, that sweet honey and that hint of crushed pineapple almost gives it a little bit of an Asian flair.
So you have two varieties of your slathering
I
sauce,
do.
is
I
that
have
right?
original recipe, and we have the spicy variety.
And both of them have a lot of interest.
A lot of interest and lots of sweet, sweet honey.
And I've got to say, I tried the spicy one last weekend. My husband made baked beans, and he doctored it up with the spicy. And it is not the hot spicy. It is just, you know, spicy, perfect.
Just
and how do you do that?
Actually, Jackie, and I'm
Is
glad
that a
you.
secret?
No, I'm glad you asked that. It's the crushed red pepper, because I don't use any other peppers or ground peppers. It's got that lovely, lovely heat to it, and then it'll subside, so you're not on fire, and you just get to enjoy all those wonderful, wonderful flavors bursting in your mouth.
It was definitely a hit in my house.
It looks like for the carnivores in the crowd, we can really use this sauce. What a fabulous plate.
Yes, and we also, and it's good on tofu as well, but starting down here at the bottom, we have a lovely pork tenderloin that we've done in the oven, and we've slathered with sauce. Again, under heat, it's going to caramelize to a beautiful color. Beautiful baby back ribs. Who doesn't like baby back ribs,
We're going
right?
to fight for those.
Sausage is lovely on the grill and all slathered up. Again, you can see that wonderful caramelization, that sweet, sticky taste. We've got a Boston butt here. And if you're looking for a different ham glaze, does beautifully.
And the color is so pretty.
It is, and it's very sweet. Again, you've got that lovely crushed pineapple. These are the chicken legs. When I'm entertaining, I usually figure about 3 or 4 legs per person, because I guarantee you, if you're not licking your fingers, somebody else will be.
It sounds like you are used to cooking for clips and extension agents. I see these boys over there.
Or Department of Ag.
I've got a few clips and
And I
fans
know a
coming
lot of
in
your
the
products are from South Carolina
Yes,
and
they
are
are.
free range. And one of the things that you've got
Absolutely.
here, I think, is some wonderful South Carolina quail.
It is South Carolina quail wrapped in bacon and slathered in sauce. And we also have some lovely South Carolina bell peppers stuffed with some hamburger meat and, again, slathered. So,
How about fish? How's it do on fish?
Yeah, and we didn't bring any fish here tonight, but it serves as a lovely finishing sauce over salmon or mahi-mahi on the grill. Oh, I can't recommend it highly enough.
Well, but we do have our seafood industry represented, and I bet this is some of our great South Carolina shrimp.
Well, a Charleston girl can't come without shrimp. Yes, and we actually use the spicy variety in place of cocktail sauce, and it's just lovely, a little bit different.
Do you have to add anything to it, or do you just use
Oh,
the...
it's good right out of the
I will
jar.
try
It's
that.
just perfect.
And now, I don't know how this snuck in, but it looks like there's a really peculiar-looking hamburger up there.
Well, we've got the sliders that are actually the chopped Boston butt, but this is the original slather burger, and I'm going to let you enjoy the slathering experience here tonight. Slather burger is applewood smoked bacon, grass-fed beef, local, or bison, smoked Gouda cheese, caramelized onions, and just go ahead and slather that on, Amanda.
You're a slather now.
Isn't that yummy?
Oh, boy.
I guarantee.
And I'm looking at this bottle, and it looks kind of like Lydia Pinkham's cure-all for women back in the 1800s. It says, Slather brand slathering sauce, the cure for boring food. And I
certainly
think
think so.
that that you've certainly accomplished that with what you've shown us tonight. I haven't seen this in my store yet, but I sure would like to know where I can get it.
Well, actually, if you visit my website at www.slatheriton.com, it lists all the locations, and we're adding locations every single day. So please visit, click on the state wherever you are or the city, and you will find where you can buy slathering sauce. And we sell it online as well if we are not in your community just yet.
And I
you
tell
have
you,
recipes, right?
I think
I
recipes
do.
there too, but also, I think if we've got a husband who's lost interest, we could just put a little of this behind our ears, Jackie. It smells great. And you've got so many great products at your website. Tell us how to find all the specialty foods that the South Carolina farmers and producers are putting out there for us.
Yes, we have the South Carolina Specialty Food Association has their website. It's www.scsfa.org. You can go to the membership page, and it lists all of our members. It shows pictures of their products and how to contact them. Also, if on the contact page, if you want a directory and just like to have that paper in your hand, you can go and email me, and I'll send you directories free of charge for the Department of Agriculture.
Boy, you've got a good agency you work for.
I
We're
do.
happy to partner with you.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, both of y'all, for coming. And now I hear Debbie just a tip-tap tipping away over there in that chat room. So let's find out what she and her friends are up to.
Max with Tech Infrared Grills.
And I'm Barbecue Bob from the Grillin' Guys radio program.
Hey, we're here today to tell you about Tech's new 100% infrared grilling system.
That's right, and to do that, we're going to cook on 3 types of grills.
The first grill we're going to cook on is going to be a traditional old-style hot air grill or convection grill.
That's right, Max. And then we're going to go to the original Tech patio model. This was the first infrared grill ever invented, and it was invented by Tech. It's like all other infrared grills on the market now because this technology is 30 years old, and it's 65% hot air.
Our new technology, however, is with the new G Sport. We cook with 100% infrared heat and no hot air, keeping everything moist and juicy.
So let's fire up some grills.
Let's get cooking. We've been preheating our grills for 8 minutes. First, let's look at the convection grill. 508 degrees. Now let's go to the first series of infrared grills. (918 degrees). Now let's go to our 100% infrared. 987 degrees.
And for the meats in this test, we've selected some beautiful ribeyes and some skinless, boneless chicken breasts. We're just going to put them on right now. Oh, I love the sound of that. All right. All right, time to flip the meat. Oh man, that looks good. Oh, if you could only smell what I'm smelling right now. We'll have a taste in a little bit. I don't think this one's quite ready yet. Nope. She's going to have to wait. See, the old style of infrared has really pretty much an open flame under it with that ceramic burner. And it's very possible to get a flare-up, and that's what's happening right now. Our juices are so hot, they're burning and they're igniting. That's not good for the flavor of the food. With our new style, the flame never has a chance to touch the meat. So really, the air doesn't either, and that's why we have 100% infrared. The difference is you don't have all that hot air drying out your meat. Our ceramic infrared grill is starting to dry the meat out. So let's pull it off. And let's look at our new Tech. I can see the juices coming out of the meat already. And I think that's about right, Max. What do you think?
I think you're right on it.
All right. And that is how a piece of chicken ought to look right there. Now let's take a look at the basic grill, and I think we're just about ready to flip. Just doesn't get hot enough to really sear it the way we want to, but I can see the surface of that meat's all dried out already. I'm going to close the grill lid so we can get some heat in this thing and help the old girl out. What do you think?
That sounds great.
First, let's cut into the steak that we pulled off the new Tech, and let's see what 100% infrared does. Oh my goodness, look at the juice coming out of that. That's beautiful. Now, let's cut into the chicken off the new Tech and see what the results are. Same thing. Can you see the juice in that piece of meat? I mean, it's literally dripping out of it. And now let's try the chicken from the original style infrared. That's 65% convective heat. Not too bad. Got some moisture in it. Not quite as juicy. And now let's try the steak off the original style infrared burner. Again, not too bad. Still some juice in there. Nothing like the first piece.
Now let's get the steak and the chicken off of the convective grill, the hot air grill. It's been on for between 22 and 25 minutes. Now we're going to cut the steak off the hot air convection grill. Again, it was on the grill for about 25 minutes. That's okay, but it's not very juicy. Now we're going to cut the chicken off the hot air convection grill. That looks pretty dry to me.
So you're interested in switching to a tankless system? Well, it may be worth it for you, but ask yourself a few questions before deciding if a tankless system is right for you. Are you interested in saving money on your energy bills? Of course. A gas tankless water heater is 40% less expensive to operate than a traditional tank. After all, you're only heating the water as you need it, so you're saving money on your fuel and electricity costs. Do you want your investment to last? Yeah. On top of lower energy costs, a tankless water system can last up to 20 years. That could be twice as long as a standard tank heater. Do you need more space? Sure. After all, a tankless water heater is about the size of a carry-on suitcase and can be installed virtually anywhere. But keep in mind, with all that free space, you're going to lose your excuse to not get that new elliptical machine. And finally, are you tired of taking cold showers? Absolutely. A gas tankless water heater supplies hot water continuously. That means you never run out. Imagine never having to take a cold shower again. If you answered yes to these questions, then a tankless water system is right for you. To find out more about tankless water heaters and how they can improve your life, go to kudzu.com.
Welcome back. Bad Byron here at Santa Rosa Beach, Butt Rub World Headquarters. Today's Rib Day, and I have been getting a lot of requests for this show. We've been putting it off just a little bit because we want to kind of build up to it. Today's our first barbecuing day. Now, in the past 3 shows, we've done grilling exercises. And a lot of people use the term grilling and barbecuing simultaneously, but really they're quite the opposite. And we'll get into that in just a little bit. I came up with a butt rub apple glazed rib that I'm real happy with. And I think that if you follow what we're doing today, you'll enjoy the unique rib. It's a flavored dish. It's a little unique. We're kind of taking a traditional method and having a little contemporary flair with it. But it's a little bit of a sweet heat balance, and it's just a real pretty rib with a nice apple glaze on it. By all means, it is not the definitive way to do ribs. There's so many ways to do ribs. That's why there's a competition every weekend. Everybody's got their own approach. So I'm not here to say this is the only way to do it. But I am here to say that this is a very successful way to do it, and I think you'll be real happy with the results. Okay, let's talk about rib options here. When we're talking about barbecue ribs, we're talking about pork ribs. I mean, you can find barbecue ribs that are beef in certain places in the country, but universally, it's a pork thing. And, you know, each region of the country has different preferences on barbecue, but the one common denominator that everybody kind of agrees on is pork ribs. I mean, it's just, it has to be the most universal liked barbecue in our country. It certainly crosses all regions and all boundaries. So when we're talking about pork ribs, now you got 2 options. Okay, I've got an example of each right here in front of us. This is known as the loin back. Okay, this is basically the upper part of the rib cage, encases the loin. Very popular. When you read baby back ribs, this is what they're talking about. Baby back ribs is just a marketing term. It all started back in the Danish. First started importing when they started bringing in the ribs, there were just these little baby ribs, and that's how they got the name. But anyway, they're a lot bigger now. They're not necessarily baby backs, but it is a loin rib. You know, I would say half people prefer loin, half people prefer the spare rib, which brings me to this. Now, this is what we're going to be cooking today, actually. This is a full spare, and this encases the belly. Now, on the spare, we're going to actually trim that down. I'll show you in just a minute, but it's called a St. Louis cut. If you don't want to do any of your own butchering, you could find St. Louis cut ribs at your meat market, but it's not hard to do either. Basically, you can find the full spare probably more commonly available. We're going to get right into that, but we were talking about the difference in barbecuing and grilling, and I actually have a little chart that we're going to kind of put together here. You'll never forget the difference between grilling and barbecuing with this simple little diagram. For grilling, you know, we were talking about tender cuts. You know, we had chicken wings, we had fish, We did shrimp. If you want to do burgers or steaks, these are all tender cuts. Grilling is also a high heat method. We were cooking, the last thing we cooked was those shrimp. That was 450 degrees, I think. We cooked it directly over coals, okay? And it's a very quick method. Now with barbecuing, and what we're gonna do with these ribs today, we're gonna slow it down. First of all, it's a tough cut. And all barbecue, true barbecue cuts are tough. The pork shoulder, beef brisket, you know, ribs even, those are all tough cuts of meat. So that's one difference. High heat, we're gonna go low heat. Okay, we're gonna be cooking at 225 today. 225 is a classic barbecue temperature. Direct heat, okay, we're going indirect. You'll see the offset fireboxes on a lot of those grills. That's what that's for. You build a fire down here and then it comes up into the main chamber, so that's indirect cooking. For us today, we're gonna bank the coals over to one side and we'll have the meat on the other side. So that's a form of indirect cooking. All right, in grilling, we're talking about quick cooking. In barbecuing, we're talking about slow cooking. You've heard the term slow and low. There you go. Okay, so while the term is used synonymously, they're actually quite the opposite. Tender, tough, high heat, low heat, direct heat, indirect heat, quick cooking, slow cooking. So next time you get an argument at the Super Bowl party, you can let them know that that's not barbecue at all when you're eating your brats. So now we know a little bit of the basics on our pork option, our pork rib options. I'm gonna go with the spare rib. It's my personal favorite. I think it's got just a little bit more flavor and a little bit more succulence to the meat. A lot of people prefer the loin back. This recipe today is interchangeable with either one. So if you prefer the loin back ribs, that's fine. You can do the same time and temperatures, the same prep, same everything. But let's go ahead and get into our spare rib here. I had mentioned I was going to cut this off into a St. Louis cut. And again, you know, if you want to do the full spare, just like it is, that's fine. That's a very popular thing to do. The reason we're cutting down to a St. Louis cut is because the rib actually ends right here at the end of this meat. And this is kind of skirt meat. It's very popular to have a St. Louis cut. It just kind of presents well. I like it that way. It's very popular in competitions. So what we're going to do, we have the spare rib here. I'm going to turn it over. Cut that skirt off. The way I do it, okay, right here are the two longest ribs of the whole. And this is a slab, by the way. When you cut into it, it's called a rack. But on this slab, I put my fingers right here at the base of these two, the longest ribs. I'm just going to make a mark. I'm going to mark it. Okay, so I got my mark. And basically, the only thing a St. Louis cut is, it's just cutting this off below the mark. So it's not hard to do. You're not going through bone or anything like that. I just kind of carry my mark on out to there and then carry a mark straight across. That's it. So now, start at this end, go ahead and go down to the cutting board and just go straight across. Just like that. Okay, so this is St. Louis cut. Okay, the next thing we'll do, okay, let's talk about this membrane right here. You know, I looked around the internet and there's a lot of people actually telling you to keep this membrane on. I would not recommend that. You know, one of the things you can do to improve your rib cooking is to remove this membrane. It's not hard to do. The thing is the stomach lining, and it's no amount of cooking is going to break it down. It's not chewable, it's not digestible. And on top of that, when we go to season this rib, we can only season one side of it because, I mean, this might as well be, you know, a plastic wall right here. So it's not hard to do. This is the tool I like to take the membrane off. And basically, I mean, it's an ice pick. You can use a metal skewer, a wooden skewer. I come down to second or third rib and just kind of come in. Okay, and once you get off the rib just a little bit, you can kind of come in with your fingers. Sometimes this comes off nice and smooth and easy, and sometimes you have to do it in sections, but let me get a grip on this here. Okay, now I've got it, let me get a paper towel real quick. Now I've got it off the rib, and so I'll take the paper towel and just grab it like that and just come straight down. So we're completely free of a membrane. I like to take the kitchen shears, just kind of trim it up a little bit. Not absolutely necessary, but I guess through a lot of years of competition, you kind of pay attention to all the little details. Okay, got 3 items we're going to season this with. Okay, the first is we're going to make a baste. All right, we got 1 cup apple juice, and to that 1/2 cup cider vinegar. Okay, we're going to use this to moisten the ribs to start with. We're also going to use it while it's cooking. So 1/3 cider vinegar, 2/3 apple juice. And moisten that real good on both sides. Okay. Second ingredient is going to be some canola oil, so light coating. And the oil, you know, pretty common to put down before you put the rub. It does a couple things. It helps the rub adhere, and it also helps in the browning process. So it kind of aids the bark in terms of building as you're cooking. And we're going to go ahead and throw down some butt rub here. Now, a lot of barbecue rubs have sugar in them. This does not, so you don't use it quite as heavily. Now we're going to get some sweet to this before it's over. The apple juice has a little bit of sweetness in it, but we're also going to be adding brown sugar. We're going to be adding some apple jelly. So in the end, it's not going to be really as sweet as it might look. It's going to have a sweet heat balance and a nice pretty glaze. Of course, pork and apple has always been a universal, standard. And then of course we've got our cider vinegar. It kind of helps balance off the fat in the rib. So the ingredients are simple and few, but it all works together very well. So we'll go ahead and get the grill prepped up, and we'll get this cooking on the grill. We're going to be cooking with just indirect, lump charcoal, a little bit of hickory wood. Okay, I mentioned we're going to bank the coals all to one side, and that's what we've done here. This Primo's got plenty of oblong space where we got the coals here, and we're going to put the ribs we'll be cooking indirect. So like we've done with grilling, we'll take our oil. We've got a clean grate, now we've got an oil grate. Just get habit to be into. Okay, so got the ribs here. We're going to go diagonal up there. There we go. We're cooking with just a little bit of hickory wood, indirect. I'm looking at 225 degrees. Okay, let's see what the ribs are doing here. It's been about an hour since we put them on the grill. Trying to get some nice color. I'm gonna baste them one time in this process, and this is like we talked about. This is cider vinegar and apple juice combination. I want to get a good little misting here on both sides. So what's the purpose of the baste? Well, it helps keeps the ribs moist. It also is the foundation for our glaze. The apple juice begins to kind of slowly, lightly caramelize on the ribs as they're cooking. So we're basically building layers here. So this is basically wrapping up phase 1 of this process. Okay, so let's talk about the complete picture of what we're doing today. Right now, we're in the phase 1 of cooking. The ribs are on the grill. We're basically letting the rub set in. We're getting some color, get some flavor from the wood and the charcoal. And it's really the foundation of what makes barbecue ribs good right here, phase 1. Phase 2, okay, we're going to be foiling these ribs. Now, that's a process that's very popular in competition barbecue. It's the best way I know how to get them very tender, and it's still going to maintain its moisture and very tenderness that's so desirable in the ribs. So basically we're going to take these off once we get peak color here in just a little bit, and we're going to re-season them, and we're going to wrap them in the foil. That's going to be cooking for another 1.5 hours in the foil, and at that point they're going to be perfectly tender and beautiful. The final phase is we're going to take them out of the foil, and apply our glaze to it. And that just kind of, the last 15 minutes just sets the glaze, and it has a very attractive finish to it, and it also gives it the apple glaze characteristics that we're looking for today. That's where we're at. That's the 3 big pitchers, and we're looking at a total cook time of 3.5 hours, give or take 10 or 15 minutes. It depends on, sometimes this first phase is an hour and a half, sometimes an hour and 40 minutes, but we will stick firm to this hour and a half in the full. So I'm counting on 3.5 hours total cook time. Got our ribs here. We just took them off the grill. They've been about an hour and a half. They've been on the grill. Got some nice color to them. Like I said, this is a foundation of what makes these ribs really good. You've got the wood and the smoke, and the rub is cooked into the meat. Now, the only problem with this right now is they're not tender, and so they're not ready to serve. So this is our next phase, which is really going to put wonderful juicy tenderness to the end product. Okay, I'm gonna hit it with the baste again, moisten it real well. I'm coming back with a light layer of the butt rub. And we're introducing a little bit of brown sugar here. It's light brown sugar. Same thing on the top side. Just a light coating. Building flavor, building layers of flavor. Okay, now this foil is the heavy duty foil. Going about 4 or 5 inches on each side, and basically it's just going to be like an envelope. Just kind of take it in right there, like that. I'm doing 3 layers per rib, and before you think that's overkill, this produces juice and fat and the brown sugar. You know, you're going to have a sauce basically built into the foil. And what you don't want is to have a hole in your foil and that gets all over the grill, all over the floor, all over, you know, I mean, it's a mess. You want it in here. So the 3 layers help protect you from having a big old mess, basically. Now, if you're in England, you're going to need about 20 sheets of foil. It's paper thin foil over there. I don't understand what's going on with their foil, but it's kind of an inside joke, but they don't have thick foil in England. All right, here we go. So this is their baste. Wet it real nice. Butt rub. Bit of brown sugar. So we've got a nice foundation for our glaze already. We've had the glaze, the baste cook into the meat on the grill already. Now we're adding more. And so we've got the apple foundation already in place. More about that later. Now, once you have it at this point, kind of rein it on in, tighten it up good. There we go. Okay, so this is ready for the grill, and this is going to be on the grill for an hour and a half at 225. Going into our third and final phase. We've got the ribs just come off the grill. We let them rest about 15 minutes, just so they won't be too hot to handle. Now, all we're going to do is take them out of the foil, and I'm going to put the apple jelly that's cooked down to a liquid. Actually, just put the apple jelly in there, heat on a low heat, stir it. When it liquefies, that's what I'm looking for. So we're just looking to basically glaze these ribs, put them back on for about 15 minutes. And we've completed our butt rub apple glazed ribs. If you're thinking that this might be a little overpowering, putting this much on there, it's not. It's just not the case. In the end, it becomes just a small part of the whole thing. About 15 minutes, we'll be ready to go. Okay, you've seen every step of the way. We've got our final product here, almost. Now we're going to cut them into ribs, and I will show you how I like to do that. I like to turn them over, and here at the back side you see the ribs. That way you just go halfway in between on each end. You see the tip of each rib bone there. Go halfway to each one there. And the ribs, you know, sometimes they turn all kind of crazy ways, so you take your time and locate the end tip of each rib. You have nice, even, presentable ribs. Now, what I would do is just one light layer on the back side. Because you're ready to serve. Okay, our final product, butt rub apple glazed ribs. Hope you enjoy it, and we appreciate you tuning in. We have more episodes heading your way. If you're on Facebook, we have Bad Byron's Butt Rub Appreciation Society. We'd love for you to join. You'll be the first to be notified about our new episodes, and we can keep our information rolling to you about new recipes and so forth. So thanks for everything. Look forward to seeing you again. This is Bad Byron.
Timing is key to putting a meal on the table and getting all of the elements of that meal on the table at the same time. Sometimes cooks are intimidated by the idea of having to bring together a number of things simultaneously, and what cooking on the griddle does is lets you work at a pace that you're comfortable with. One reason we want to show people what salmon can be like on the griddle is that in some ways, salmon is America's fish. Americans love salmon. They like it wild, they like it farmed, they like it baked, they like it sauteed, they like it grilled. It's really versatile, and it tastes fantastic on the griddle. So, vegetables are kind of forgiving. You know, you can put the vegetables for this meal on the griddle first, and just kind of let them go to work. You put a little color on those, they absorb some flavor, they develop a little caramelization. When that starts to happen, you say, okay, I think I need to start thinking about putting the fish on. When you're feeling ready, you put the fish on the hot griddle, it crisps up, the skin turns nice, it's cooking along. The vegetables, no rush, give them a stir. They're doing great. They're starting to look a little done, okay, flip the fish, pull off the vegetables, put them on the plate. They can sit there for a second. They're good piping hot. They're good at room temperature. You can't go wrong with this. So be relaxed about it. When the fish is ready, take it off, put it on the plate, let it rest a little bit. You got a little sauce, drizzle some sauce over it, drizzle a little over the vegetables. Bring the platter to the table, everyone oohs and ahs. The griddle lets you pull it all together at your own pace, and it's going to be great every time.
Hello, and welcome again to the Memphis Backyard Kitchen. I'm Matt Hayes, Executive Corporate Chef for Memphis Woodfire Grills, and today we're going to talk about ribs. We did our pork shoulder, and that was as easy as 1, 2, 3. Our ribs are as easy as 3, 2, 1. There are two main varieties of ribs. You have the St. Louis style ribs and the baby back ribs. The difference being this is the upper cut of the ribs, and the St. Louis style is the lower portion. Whether you choose St. Louis style or baby back, one of the things to consider, check carefully the label and find out if there's additives put in to increase the tenderness of the ribs. If the ribs are what we call green, you might want to consider brining. Today we're working with baby back ribs. Before we get started, we're going to have to take this membrane off the back. I find the easiest way to do this is with a butter knife up against the bone to get it started. Once you've got it started, grab a paper towel, it can be a little bit slippery, and peel the membrane off. Once we remove the membrane, we want to pat our ribs dry and liberally apply. Today I've got the Memphis Smokehouse Low and Slow Rub. Once we have applied our low and slow rub to both the front and back of our ribs, we'll take them off and put them in the fridge for 4 hours. Here I have some ribs that have been in the refrigerator dusted with our rub for about 4 hours. I've got the grill set to 240 degrees and we're going to put the ribs on for 3 hours. Our ribs have been on the grill for 3 hours at 240 degrees. Whew, a little bit warm. We'll take them off over to some aluminum foil where we'll tent them before we put them back onto the grill. Today I'm using the South Carolina style. I've just transferred it to a squeeze bottle to make it easier to apply. With our sauce brushed out, we want to close up our ribs, folding it over a couple of times to make a very tight seal. Technically what we're doing here is considered a braise. Roll one end up, leave the other one open like a horn. Inside that, a 1/4 cup of apple cider. We'll close that off, and it's back to a 240 degree grill for 2 hours. It's now been 2 hours, and we'll take the ribs out of our aluminum foil. And the one in our 3-2-1, they go back onto the grill for 1 hour. And if you're a sauce lover, you can apply a little bit more sauce and allow it to caramelize as the ribs bake. And there you have it. Ribs as easy as 3-2-1. Look at the results from the Memphis. Look at this beautiful smoke ring. And the ribs, fantastically tender. And the meat pulls easily from the bone. Fantastic. I'm Matt Hayes. Thanks for watching. Check out our YouTube channel. Like us on Facebook. Check out our website, memphisgrills.com. And if you have an idea for a shoot, send me an email. I'd be glad to hear from you.
And now we're going to show you how evenly a tack cooks from side to side and front to back. We're going to load this grill down with about 6 hamburgers, and they should cook all exactly the same. Let's load them up. All right, sounds good to me. Yeah, buddy. You may be wondering why we have the hood open. Well, it's because our grill creates plenty enough heat without having to bake our hamburgers. We're charbroiling them from underneath. I believe it's about time for us to turn. All right, let's flip these hamburgers. Look at these sear marks. Can't you just taste that sizzle? Looks like these hamburgers are done. If you'll notice, there's no flare-up, just beautiful charbroiled smoke. We're cooking on 100% infrared, so there's no oxygen to ignite the juices. Let's take them off, Max. What we're going to do is cut down the center of this stack, and we want to see how evenly these hamburgers have cooked. Look at all the juices just flowing out of there. See that? It's perfection. Exactly the same. Another unique feature of this grill is that we can cook vegetables very well on top of it using a marinade. All we do is dump the vegetables onto the grill and season it with our very flammable salad dressing. The marinade drops down onto the glass, incinerizes and steams, and comes back up to give it that great flavor, that great smoky flavor, that great steamed flavor. You also notice there's no flare-ups, even with that very flammable oil on top of that grate, on top of that glass. And now let's talk about some of the great features about Tech that I really like. First of all, it burns about half the amount of fuel that most other grills do. Okay, and that's a big deal because you're going to save money. Next, look at this beautiful 304 grade stainless steel. That just means it's going to last a long time and it's going to look good. It cleans up nicely. It'll never rust. I live in the north, so for me, the fact that it's 100% pure infrared means the ambient temperature of the air has nothing to do with how my food cooks. As a matter of fact, I can cook with the lid open and still not have a problem with undercooking my food. But more importantly, I can go out in the middle of winter with this much snow on my grill and light a fire and cook steaks in 8 minutes just like we did. And one of my favorite things about Tech is their commitment to American labor and American-made products. I mean, every screw, every part, every piece of this grill is made in America. That makes me proud. And it also means that the quality is the best in the world. Why wouldn't you want that on your back deck?
Looks like someone's interested in going tankless. If so, coming to kudzu.com is the right move. Now let me tell you a little bit more about how these things work. With a tankless water heater, the general idea is actually pretty simple. Let's say you want to take a shower or start a load of laundry. Cold water will enter the unit through this pipe here. Now that activates a switch which turns on a heating element. For example, with this Rinnai unit here, this is a gas-powered tankless system, which means the heating element inside here is a gas-fired burner. As the water travels through the unit, the burner heats it to a preset temperature and voila, hot water comes out. So, cold water in, hot water out. Simple, right? Still, when choosing and installing one of these units, I recommend that you go to a professional. There are a lot of things that have to be considered, the most important of which is making sure you get the right size unit for your home. And by that, they look at things like fixtures. How many do you have? How many of those fixtures are all going to be working at the same time? They even determine things like what's the temperature of the water that's coming into your house. Another consideration is whether you want a gas or electric powered unit, and either way, you may have to upgrade your current utilities. And also their space. I mean, this takes up a lot less of it than a traditional tank would, but you still have to allot for installation and room for all of its components. So now you have the general idea of how going tankless works and what it takes to replace your old system. I guess that just leaves one question. When do you want to do it? For more information on tankless systems, go to kudzu.com.
Hello folks, welcome back. Bad Byron here at Santa Rosa Beach at Butt Rub World Headquarters. Today's Shrimp Day. We've got Jubilee Boiled, Butt Rub Seasoned Fried, and Jubilee Shrimp on the Grill. We're introducing you to our product Jubilee, as my friend Lisa Hay calls it, Butt Rub's sister. I originated Jubilee for grilling seafood. I knew most of our market, most of the people that use our product are into barbecue and grilling, so I wanted something that would work on fish fillets, shrimp, crab cakes, you name it. We have a lot of uses for Jubilee, and I think what we're doing today with it, you'll get appreciation of what it's all about. So we're gonna go right into our first dish here. This is our Jubilee shrimp boil. And basically, let's talk about shrimp for a little bit here. Classically, when you're boiling shrimp, you're gonna go with a medium-sized shrimp. We used to go shrimp in, we save the large shrimp for frying. In this case, we're gonna save it for frying and grilling. And then the smaller shrimp are ideal for peel and eat, which is classically what boiled shrimp is. And another thing about shrimp, you know, these days there's U.S. wild caught shrimp and then there's everything else. Please pay attention to that because it's a better quality product and you're supporting good jobs. U.S. wild shrimp is certainly in a class by itself. It's the best shrimp available. So that's what we're going with today. These are 40, 50 count, and this is like a medium, I would say it's a medium shrimp. So to this shrimp boil, I've got a gallon of water right here in this pot, and we only have 4 things we're gonna add to it. I've got 4 tablespoons of kosher salt, right at 1/4 cup. Okay, I've got the juice of 1 lemon. So basically, I'm just gonna squeeze it right on in there. Don't want the seeds, so get a little strainer. Okay, and then we've got 1 cup of Jubilee, straight out of the jar. Okay, Tabasco, just original classic Tabasco, 1 tablespoon. That's it. And the main thing we want to accomplish when we're adding the shrimp to it is we want the recovery time. If it's at a boil, we put cold shrimp in there, it's going to come off the boil. But we want that back at a boil as quick as possible. The reason why is because it just cooks better. If you have shrimp around and steep it in a pot of water for a while, I mean, it's going to get kind of rubbery and it's going to be hard to peel and all that. So the trick is just to add a little bit at a time and keep the water at a high temperature, get it right back on the boil again. So we'll do that by just adding a few at a time. So let's get this on the stove, get it to a boil, and we'll go right on into our shrimp boil. Okay, our bowl has got a nice level of temperature. We're going to do this is 1 of 2 batches from our original batch of shrimp. So we're rolling here. We're just going to go ahead and add those shrimp. I want a quick recovery, so I'll put the lid on, and that's going to come back to a boil here. Sooner the better, but we're looking at probably another 15 seconds. We'll be back and boiling. And this shrimp is only going to take about 3 minutes. Really. When it's pink and it starts to kind of float up, you're done. You don't want to overcook it. That's the key. And at the higher temperature, you're going to have it'll come off the shell will come off the shrimp easier, and I think you'll really enjoy those. So we'll let that cook for a minute here. Shrimp looking good, nice and pink. About 3 minutes. There you go. Couple of scoops here. The last and final touch. Got your Jubilee seasoning I'm going to put right on top of it. We're going to be peeling and eating these, and this is kind of just icing on the cake, really. There you go. Bad Byron's Jubilee boiled shrimp. Enjoy. Next up, fried shrimp, one of my favorite dishes in the world. What I've developed here is a really simple way of doing fried shrimp. There's lots of different ways to bread shrimp. I'm preparing the batter for fried shrimp right now. I've got our fat over here, canola oil, it's at 360, standard prime temperature. Okay, this is all-purpose flour. It's only 2 tablespoons of that for this recipe. Of course, you may want to double this, triple this recipe, depends on how much you're cooking. Okay, now, this is corn flour. Just straight up corn flour. Cornmeal, we're gonna make corn flour out of it. Okay, and this is butt rub. Okay, now I'm gonna put these two in our grinder here, because regular cornmeal is just a little bit too coarse for this. If you've ever purchased fish fry or other brand products that are breading for seafood, it's a flour consistency from the cornmeal. Well, we're gonna make our own here. Okay, so basically, we've got 1/3 of a cup of regular cornmeal. And this is 1.5 tablespoons of the butt rub. And now, you know, of course, if you're not familiar with these coffee grinders, they're pretty inexpensive. And it's a good idea to have one around because you'll find a lot of uses for them. Nice little culinary tool, in addition to making coffee, grinding coffee beans. Okay. Okay, we've got it locked in there. That's about 20 seconds worth. Okay. We're gonna add this in with the flour. The flour is already ground, so and that's already a fine consistency. Okay. So we've got mostly cornmeal with flour and butt rub. That's it. This is a nice, fine consistency. Now, we've got our shrimp already butterflied. If you are not familiar with how to butterfly, I just happen to have some shrimp right here. It's going to go on the back side. I let it come like that, come straight down. You don't want to go all the way through, you want to go a little over halfway. Just kind of press it out a little bit. That's butterfly shrimp. To that butterfly shrimp, basically, I'm going to add some lemon juice just to moisten it. Moisten it and flavor it. Because there's nothing acidic in our butt rub at all. Then we've got cornmeal and we've got flour. So I'm just gonna kind of, like I said, wet this. And that's it, that's it. The next thing is, we just kind of go 1, 2, 3, just a light breading, just like that, that's what we're looking for here. The reason I'm bypassing the egg wash or buttermilk or however else you want to do it, is because it works. You don't really need all that. This is the lightest way to do a breading that I know of, and that's the key. You know, if you ask fried shrimp lovers what they like about their fried shrimp, it's, oh, I like the light breading, light crisp, light breading. You hear that all the time. So here you go. I played around until I had a way of doing it that I was happy with, and that's what we got here. So I'm going to get these prepped up, and we'll be throwing these in the fryer here in a moment. Shrimp all breaded up, we're going to go into our fryer here. It's a good idea not to overload the fryer. We've got enough oil here that I can put this amount of shrimp in there and it should be in good shape. I'm putting them in there individually, kind of helps to keep them getting stuck together. All Gonna roll them around a little bit. I'm expecting 3 or 4 minutes, maybe. As soon as they're getting have color, they're done. They cook really quick. One of the biggest mistakes people make in cooking shrimp, I believe, is they overcook it. In 3 minutes, the shrimp are done. Okay, there we go. Now you can tell by looking at those shrimp, this is the definition of lightly breaded. Butt rub gives it just enough seasoning. You don't really know it's there, but you know that they've been seasoned just a little bit. Of course, I like the cornmeal and the flour mixed together. That's a pretty classic combination for breading. And good fresh wild American shrimp with a little bit of butt rub, lightly battered. There you go, bud. Okay, to wrap up the trifecta, we're going to do Jubilee grilled shrimp. Now we're using Jubilee and its original intention. And what I'm gonna do to this shrimp, they're peeled and deveined shrimp, still have the tails on. And I'm gonna add just a little bit of canola oil to our shrimp. Not much, okay. Kind of toss it around. Okay, next, I've got a Jubilee and I'm just gonna basically, it's gonna have about a medium coat time we get through with it, but if you happen to watch the chicken wings, it's the same kind of method here. Just season it, toss it around, season it. Now, actually, Jubilee, you can be a little more liberal with it than you would be on the butt rub because it's not quite as intense. Now, if you are not familiar with Jubilee, it's basically salt and pepper, onion, garlic. It's got celery salt. It's got Worcestershire powder. It's got lemon juice powder. It's got some cayenne pepper. It's really, our slogan is the flavor of the Gulf South, and the reason basically I came up with that is because these are all the classic ways of seasoning the fish that we like to do along the South here, along the Gulf South. It's all the same items, it's just in a dry form in a seasoning. Just about ready to go here. Okay. Now, you get a picture of that bacon dog. We're going to take these shrimp now and I'm going to skewer them. Basically, we'll do 4 to a skewer. And now I'm going to have a hot grill out there. It's about 400. These will be on the grill probably 3 minutes. There will be one side and the other side and they're done. They'll caramelize up real nice. Have a good charred flavor to them. And of course the Jubilee will caramelize on the shrimp. I think you'll like that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up here. I've got 2. Go ahead and knock out the rest of these and I'll see you at the grill. To conclude our trifecta, this is our final presentation here. We got some Jubilee grilled shrimp. And first of all, I'm looking at a 450, 475 on the temperature, really hot. Which means it's gonna be a really quick cook. So I've got a clean grate. Now I've got an oil grate. Okay, you saw me prep these things up. I'm gonna cross the grill there with that. Now these skewers, a lot of people like to soak them in water. You can do that, that's fine. I kind of like the fact to kind of char up at the end. Gives it a little presentation. I'm expecting to turn these in probably 2 minutes, 2-3 minutes at tops. 475, you know. So this is gonna caramelize and char, and it's gonna have a really, really nice presentation and flavor. I hope you enjoy these. Let's see what we got here. All right. Turn those shrimp over there. That was about 3 minutes on that front side. We'll give it about 2 minutes on this side and we'll be good to go. Okay, we've had 3 minutes on each side. We're ready to go here. You can present these with the skewer or without the skewer, however you want to do it. This completes our trifecta. We had a Jubilee boiled shrimp, we had butt rub, battered fried shrimp, and now we're having Jubilee grilled shrimp. Look forward to hearing back from you. You try the trifecta and let me know which one you like best. We're proud of all of them. Glad you are tuning in and watching our show, and we're really proud to offer you our seasoning, and we appreciate your support. Thank you very much.
Getting to eat a teppanyaki style meal is usually a special occasion. It's something where you have to go to a very specialized restaurant and they have to have a special grill set up. A chef with special training has to make food for you. They make it to order, it's very delicious, but usually it's as much about the show as it is the food, and it also tends to be very, very expensive. And so even if you like it a great deal, for most people, it's not something they get to experience with any regularity. It's special occasion food. The cool thing about a little griddle is that it can make any time a special occasion. With a tool like a piece of little griddle cookware, you can cook a beautiful teppanyaki style meal in your backyard anytime you feel like it, and you're going to get the full experience. But in some ways it's going to be better because the cost is a lot lower, and the food comes out to perfection exactly how you want it. You can make an absolutely beautiful steak. You can make sautéed vegetables on the griddle that are as good as anything that you're going to get at a teppanyaki grill. And you can do them for a lot less cost. Sometimes people might ask, why would you want to make a steak on the griddle when you have a grill right underneath the griddle that is perfectly capable of making a great steak? The answer to that is that until you've tried it, it's difficult to understand what the griddle is capable of doing to that meat that makes it so delicious. By cooking on the griddle, you can put a sear on that meat that puts a delicious crust on the outside and also locks in all the juice. And so the meat stays moist and extremely tender. If you make a steak on the little griddle, you turn up the heat and you get the griddle nice and preheated, and you put the steak down on the griddle surface, and you get that crust going. Look at the sear we put on that steak. That is something that you would have to go out and pay $50 for at a high-end steakhouse. You can make this in your backyard, anytime you feel like it. That's pretty special.
Here's a handy tip for changing out the flavor pellets in your grill. I purchased this vacuum head at a local big box home improvement store, and these handy buckets from the local bakery for $1 a piece. They're handy, convenient, watertight, and they're stackable. That's today's quick tip.
Okay, now we're going to show you how to turn this Tech Infrared into a slow cooker. That's right. We're going to smoke meat the old-fashioned way, just like good old-fashioned pit barbecue. So here's how we're going to do it. First of all, again, we've got that glass plate under the grate. So we're going to take a few wood chips and we're just going to sprinkle them on. And you can put as many on as you like. Remember, this meat is only going to accept smoke up to 140 degrees. All right? Now we're going to shut the lid. And again, we've got this thing turned all the way down on low, so our cook surface is about 200 degrees. And we're just going to turn that meat every 3 hours. This butt will smoke in about 4 to 6 hours, and it's going to taste good. Okay, it's been about 3 hours now. Time to turn this meat. You'll notice I sprinkled my wood chips along the front so that the smoke flows over the meat out the back of the hood. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We're going to just add a few more chips because I like to smoke it up. Let's see how that goes. We're going to put it on for another 3 to 4 hours. We'll come back and check the internal temperature in maybe 3 hours. I want that meat to be at about 190 internal temperature. All right? Let's take a break. Okay, we've had 6 hours of smoking now. Let's see what this pork butt looks like. Oh yeah, that's going to be good. We're going to take this off and we're going to rest it for about 20 minutes. Half hour. Remember, when you pull this butt off, the temperature is actually going to rise probably 5 degrees. So we'll check our internal temperatures when we get it on a platter. If it's at 190 or above, it's ready to pull. Another indicator is when this bone is sticking out about a ½ inch, she's done. So I'm going to go get some buns.
After all this cooking, let's show you how easy it is to clean this grill. What we'll do is turn it on high heat and close the hood for about 15 minutes. All right, we've had this grill on high heat for about 15 minutes. It's just like a self-cleaning oven. What's happened is it's gotten to about 1100 degrees and it's incinerized everything inside the grill. The ash has fallen down on the glass and it's turned into the consistency of a very fine ash. In a few minutes, what we'll do after the grill's cooled down, we'll take those grates off, we'll push that ash to the back, it'll fall through a slot, and we'll pull it out the front. Our grill's been cooled down, we've taken the grates off, and now we're going to scrape the ash that's left over into the back. It falls into a tray underneath that you can easily pull out. Also, the two side parts pop off with no bolts and no screws, and the front trim panel pops out, and you can put those in the dishwasher for easy cleaning. Bob, I enjoyed cooking with you today. I think we covered just about everything.
I think so, Max. So, thanks for taking the time to watch this short video. I hope you can really appreciate how good a Tech Infrared is, and if you want that same quality charbroil flavor in your backyard, put one of these there, and you'll see why America's cooking on tech.
For more information, visit us at our website at techinfrared.com.
The rugged cordless Hero by Mr. Heater is rated at 35,000 BTU per hour, the heater size that's been used by contractors and handymen for decades to heat spaces as large as a two-car garage. Despite its compact size and super quiet performance, the Hero puts out air that is much hotter than a standard plug-in heater. That's because Hero's high-efficiency fan and unique discharge accelerator directs heated air more efficiently into the workspace. The result? In a controlled laboratory test chamber designed to mimic a two-car garage, the Hero actually raised temperatures faster than a standard heater. This performance isn't just in the lab, it's noticed immediately by veteran contractors.
I don't know how many BTUs this is, but it's definitely feels like it's putting out more heat than this version.
The Hero from Mr. Heater. Powerful, quiet, cordless.
How many grills do you need? To grill a beef tenderloin, roast chicken, steam crab legs and broccoli, smoke ribs, or water smoke a beef brisket? Just one. Introducing the new Phoenix Grill, the one grill that cooks it all.
Hi, I'm Tom Nitz with Modern Home Products and ProFire Grills. I'm excited today to show you our new Phoenix Grill. It is a complete outdoor cooking system. It's built to last. The quality construction on this grill is second to none. In fact, Modern Home Products was the originator of the first consumer gas grill over 50 years ago. And we've built our business on producing the finest quality gas grills right here in the USA.
The new Phoenix Grill is one of a kind, with new features that increase outdoor cooking capabilities beyond grilling. ProFire and MHP have designed this heavy-duty cast aluminum drip pan. It sits over the burners, so the heat rises around the drip pan, making it virtually flare-up free. Grilling a tenderloin or roasting a chicken creates juices that drip onto the drip pan, not the fire. They vaporize and give your food that incredible barbecue flavor. Let's steam some crab legs. Yes, you can on the new Phoenix Grill. Just pour water into the aluminum drip pan. Once hot, it steams the food. Imagine the possibilities. This valve and bucket provide easy draining of the drip pan. The new Phoenix Grill cooks it all because of this unique stainless steel cooking mesh grid. This grid provides a surface to cook fish, veggies, or any food, which is a problem on a regular grill. In order to grill, roast, steam, and smoke foods, you have to adjust the grill temperature. The new Phoenix Grill features a solid brass dual valve for separate left and right heat control of the dual stainless steel burner from 250 to 500 degrees. An electronic ignition system with stainless steel gas collector box provides dependable starts. Providing further control of the grill temperature are vents with a damper slide. This stainless steel heat indicator monitors the grill temperature. Another MHP invention, the swivel, stay cool stainless steel handle, makes it safe and easy to open the lid. Want more working space? You've got it with these two stainless steel side shelves. The new Phoenix Grill is available in two models. Both offer LP or natural gas. The PFMG model consists of a rust-proof all-aluminum cart with a lifetime warranty. The grill head consists of powder coat aluminized steel with cast aluminum side panels. The SD model features a cart with a cast aluminum black powder coated base, a stainless steel or black powder coated aluminum column hides the LP tank. The shell of the grill uses stainless steel panels and powder coated aluminum end caps and carries a lifetime warranty. How many other grills offer that? These grills are built to last. ProFire Grills supports the new Phoenix Grill by supplying a complete line of accessories and replacement parts for all models. That's the new Phoenix Grill, the only grill that cooks it all.
To prove the new Phoenix Grill's capabilities, let's cook. We are going to grill a beef tenderloin. First searing each side under high heat on our optional cast iron grid, locking in the juices with steakhouse style sear marks. Now we'll turn the heat down and transfer the tenderloin over to the stainless steel mesh to slow cook. Of course, no meal is complete without veggies. We'll add the vegetables on the mesh grid. That's how we grill a tenderloin vegetable meal on the new Phoenix. Now let's grill some fish. First, we heat the grill to around 350 to 400 degrees. Then we'll put the cod pieces on the stainless steel mesh grid. As you can see, the mesh grid gives us the ability to cook delicate fish on a new Phoenix grill that you normally can't cook on an ordinary grill. After 5 minutes, we'll flip the cod. On the other side of the grill, we are using our optional aluminum skillet to cook zucchini pancakes. We have this side of the grill set on high heat. We are cooking the fish on a medium to low heat. This allows us to cook two very different foods at the same time. Again, we are cooking a complete meal on the new Phoenix grill. The new Phoenix grill is perfect for roasting. How about a beer can chicken or two? We'll start by placing the first chicken on our wire beer can holder with a half-full can of beer in it. Then add seasoning. No flare-up because of the aluminum drip pan. After the chickens have roasted for about an hour, we will add red potatoes and carrots, with the grill's temperature set at about 400 degrees. It's dinner time, let's eat. How about roasting fruit? We have placed a variety of fruits, grapes, strawberries, and pineapple on our skewers, and we'll cook them over the direct heat. Who would have thought you can cook fruit on a gas grill? The capability to steam foods opens up a door to new outdoor cooking possibilities. So let's steam crab legs along with asparagus and broccoli. First, we'll pour water into our cast aluminum drip pan. Now let's get the broccoli cooking for a few minutes. Now the crab legs and asparagus go on. Notice how they change color quickly. This amazing cast aluminum drip pan turns a Phoenix into a full-fledged steamer. Looks good. You can't steam foods like this on a regular grill. We will now show how versatile the new Phoenix grill is. We'll use a combination of grilling and steaming to cook the brats and vegetables. We'll start by grilling the brats for about a half hour. Then we will close the drip pan valve. Now we'll add 2 or 3 beers into the sealed drip pan. Once hot, we will have beer steam. At this point, we will add cut up onions and red and yellow peppers. We'll cook them for about 10 minutes. This is virtually flare-up free cooking. Again, the stainless steel mesh grid makes outdoor steam cooking not just a reality, but an exciting way to cook. This is our stainless steel smoker box with wood chips that have been soaked for about a half hour. The ribs go on our inverted roast rack to hold them in place while they slow cook. We'll cook the ribs at around 350 degrees for 2.5 to 3 hours with our smoker box smoking away. Once again, our cast aluminum drip tray creates a virtually flare-up free cooking environment. Now we'll place the ribs on the cooking grid and baste with barbecue sauce. These ribs turned out great. Now we're going to show you one of the neatest features of the new Phoenix grill. We are going to water smoke a beef brisket. In order to water smoke a beef brisket, we are going to once again utilize the cast aluminum drip tray. With the cast aluminum drip tray, we have the ability to shut off the valve at the bottom, which will allow us to put water in and many other liquids. Once the grill heats up, we'll put the brisket on and cook it for about 2 to 2.5 hours on a medium heat setting. Again, we have another meal that turned out incredible. The new Phoenix grill can make anyone a great outdoor chef.
The new Phoenix grill is the only grill you need. Virtually flare-up free. It grills, roasts, steams, and smokes. It's a complete outdoor cooking system because it's designed with one-of-a-kind features and built to last. It's made in America by Profire Grills and Modern Home Products. Imagine what you can cook on the new Phoenix grill. Try it out for yourself. Call 800-781-4657 or go to our website, newphoenixgrills.com. The new Phoenix grill cooks it all.
Hello, and welcome to the Memphis Backyard Kitchen. I'm Matt Hayes, corporate chef for Memphis Wood Fire Grills, and I'm here to change how you're looking at outdoor cooking. Today I want to show you a simple method for brining your pork shoulder. A lot of people ask me, oh, do I have to brine? Well, if you want a butt this beautiful, the answer is yes. But trust me, this is quick and painless. I've got 1 pound of dark brown sugar and 1 pound of pickling salt. Note with your salt, there's different crystal sizes, so different measurements of salt will have different weights. It's very important to do this by weight. I prefer pickling salt because it's easily dissolved in water. In my highly specialized 5-gallon brining bucket, I've got 1 gallon of warm water. To that, we add our pound of sugar and pound of salt, stirring to dissolve. In goes our pork shoulder. This is a 10-pound boneless pork shoulder. And on top of that, 8 pounds of ice, 8 pounds, that's 1 gallon. So now we've got 2 gallons of water, 1 pound of salt, 1 pound of sugar for a 10-pound pork roast. This is enough ice to keep it cool, keep us at food safe temperatures. Now just store this cooler in a cool spot in your house and we'll let it brine for not less than 8 hours, but not more than 14. Check out our YouTube channel. Like us on Facebook, check out our website, memphisgrills.com, and if you have an idea for a shoot, send me an email. I'd be glad to hear from you.